What's going on? What's going on, everybody? It is the only sports podcast. I'm Will. That's Casino over there. How we doing today, Casino?
Good. I'm just trying to match all that chest hair you got rolling out there.
I know. I got.
The wife goes, "Yikes!"
I got 3 buttons, and guess what? Not one of them is buttoned. So we're going. We're going flowing loose Fridays. That's what we're doing on this podcast right here. So, but how you doing on this Friday?
Sounds like
Casino?
my ex-wife. Hawk will get that reference. Only one person will get that reference, but he doesn't listen to the show.
Speaking of, your friend who does listen to the show called me out on the last episode, and I said that Aaron Rodgers tore his ACL. He actually tore his Achilles. So,
yeah,
my bad. I don't care. But if anything, this podcast is only about the truth, Casino.
He's listening. He's serious about it. I love it.
I know, and that was towards the end of the podcast too. So that's how I know he listened to the whole thing.
Oh yeah, he listens to it all the time. Thanks, Vic.
Yeah, I appreciate it. But he tore his Achilles, not his ACL, which is a perfect segue, Casino, into
injuries.
Thursday night football. Hey, this might shock you, Casino, but playing a football game where all you're doing is hitting each other as hard as you can, maybe doing that on a short week. There's a baby on the camera, or there was.
I know. I'm birthing my baby while we're doing this podcast.
But maybe
this is raw, man. This is a raw podcast. We know this.
Yeah. But maybe playing a football game on Thursday after you just played it 4 days ago, maybe that's a bad idea, and it leads to more injuries, as been shown in almost every Thursday night game every season since they started doing Thursday night football. So last night, Joey B, and this is breaking news to when we're recording this podcast, he is now out for the season with a torn ligament in his wrist. So Bengals last night lose Joe Burrow, probably lose their season. And then on the Ravens side, Mark Andrews gets taken out by, I believe there's a name for that tackle. It's like a roll under tackle or something like that. It's the one where
it's something. It's dangerous.
Yeah. Well, it's the one where a bunch of NFL players are saying that's the kind of thing that should be outlawed, because you basically I think it's a hip tackle where you're grabbing somebody by the hip and kind of like rolling under them, and that's how people's legs get caught up under it. Yeah, and that's what happened to Mark Andrews last night.
And it's crazy that so speaking of that injury, I had on the trade block trading for Mark Andrews in my fantasy league because Goddard's hurt and there's no other decent tight ends, and I'm trying to make something work. As soon as that came across the screen, I immediately frantically went to my fantasy football team and was like, delete.
So the news at the moment is that he suffered a likely season-ending ankle injury. So it's not confirmed, but most likely he's out for the season. And it's called a hip drop tackle. And also, same guy who did that hip drop tackle on Mark Andrews also did it on the sideline to Lamar Jackson. And Lamar Jackson, it looked like, was going to be at least out for the game because he was laying there. But he got up. He finished the game.
Dirty players be dirty.
I mean, last night, you're starting the week off right when it comes to picks. You picked the
I can't believe you chose Cincinnati.
Dude, I still think the Bengals would have won that game if Burrow was still in it. I mean, they drove right down the field, got a field goal, drove right down the field, got a touchdown, and then the defense held the Ravens 3 possessions where they got -3 yards, and then all of a sudden the Ravens, Burrow gets out after the touchdown, and then the Ravens start coming back, but Bengals were moving the ball up and down the field, and they were stopping the Ravens.
Because they're still a good team, but Ravens going to have it figured out. I can't believe you chose. I can't believe it. I told you, I'm a Ravens fan right now. There's going to be tougher, or not a fan. I'm not a fan of them. I've never been a fan, never will be. But I'm on that Ravens
That Ravens
bandwagon.
bandwagon. Oh, maybe I wouldn't have chose the fucking Bengals if the Bengals would have disclosed that Joe Burrow was already coming into this game with an injury. There was a report before the game
Hot take.
started where the Bengals were getting off the bus and Joe Burrow's hand that he re-injured or injured worse in the game was in a wrap or a cast or something when he was getting off the bus. Interestingly enough, not on any of the injury reports coming into this game. Not questionable, not doubtful, literally nothing. So now there is a big, dare I say, hubbub casino in the NFL gambling space, which is why was this injury not disclosed? And there's a bunch of people who were like, myself included, even though I didn't bet for money, I bet for this podcast. I wouldn't have fucking picked the Bengals if I would have known going into this game that Joe Burrow was injured.
True. That's a good point. And I didn't see that image. You'll have to send that to me. But now.
But now that the rest of the game, I mean, after that happened, it was basically just the Ravens show. Ravens still at this point look like one of the best teams, and not even in the AFC, in the entire NFL. I would put them as right there with the Eagles and Chiefs, and they'll be ahead of one of those teams because the Eagles and Chiefs play each other on Monday night.
I can't wait for that. Do you work? I don't remember. Do you work?
No, I am off Monday night.
Do you have the kids?
I do. I do have the kids. I know. Those damn kids. If they're not stopping you from going to bars, they're on podcasts forcing you to burp them. Right? These damn kids.
Well, he didn't burp. He just kind of like blood out, like bleh, just like it just rolled out of his mouth.
I mean, that is what is it? A great parallel with what we do when it comes to our NFL picks. Just blurt out just nonsense. So let's get the nonsense going, Casino. We have game one of the week is much like the stuff you find in a baby's diaper. It's just absolute shit because the first game is the 6-3 Dallas Cowboys at the 1-8 Carolina Panthers.
Oh,
I mean,
the Super Bowl favorites and the Cowboys. Oh man, they're gonna roll them. They're the best team in the league. They're gonna put 60 up on them.
If they, I mean, I feel like this is one of those games where, this is one of those games where this should be a Dolphins Broncos situation. This should be like a 70-7 game, and
easily. That's why I said 60.
I mean, I don't know any scenario how, because again, we look back at the Cowboys Cardinals games and we're like, oh, Cardinals had Josh Dobbs. That was kind of the start of his momentum, like roll right to where he is now. And everybody.
That's my son trying to do his pick.
Your son looks oddly similar to Josh Dobbs right now. Just as a look, that's Josh Dobbs' head right there. But
no,
so
he's got more
hair. Josh Dobbs was good, and we saw him in that game be good. Cardinals stepped up, blah blah blah. We have not seen Bryce Young be good. We've not seen anything from this Panthers team whatsoever.
Dude, I want to be a fly on the wall in those Panthers meetings, in that front office meetings.
Yeah, where they are looking at CJ Stroud as the MVP and looking at Bryce Young, who currently the Panthers are 28th in the league in passing, 30th in the league in rushing. Their offensive line is absolute garbage. Their defense, however, 6th in the league. So this feels like it's going to be the Giants game all over again, where the offense of the Giants, much like the offense of the Panthers, is just a nothing burger and not going to be able to do anything. And then this Cowboys team is just, again, going to put up 50 points. We're going to see all these stupid fucking stats that don't matter, where it's like Dak Prescott's the first quarterback to ever put up 402 yards and 3 touchdowns and 1 incompletion again in 4. And it's just like, that's not a stat. those aren't. I fucking hate those things where it's like over a 3-game stretch, and then it's just like, who cares? It doesn't matter. But again, the Cowboys, cupcake, cupcake after cupcake after cupcake, and they're eating.
Yeah,
Uh,
so I mean, after this, I mean, the Commanders they have the Seahawks in 2 games or 3 games, and then the Eagles, Bills, which I miss your Bills. So they do got a tough end of the schedule, but the next 2 games are still going to be cakewalks for them.
yeah, I might. I'm I feel like the Commanders have a shot to beat them just
In
because I
division,
think, yeah, division games are always weird. Commanders are like kind of
and
competitive in every
and
game
you're
they
calling
play.
and I know you're going to say the Eagles are going to lose to them.
Yeah. Well, because also, again, the only way that the Cowboys lose to bad teams, so if there is a chance that the Panthers beat them, is this Cowboys team is worse on the road than they are at home. So this game taking place in Carolina at least makes it where it might be more competitive. If this was in Cowboys Stadium, like the Commanders game is, then it's kind of like, I don't know. But also, that's a Thursday night game. So a Thursday night divisional rival game. Those are, again, those are weird to predict. Those
Short
are,
weeks.
yeah. And then, yeah, they have Eagles. They finish with Eagles, Bills, Dolphins, Lions. So at least they get 4 games at the end where it's like, we'll actually see how good they can be. And only, I believe, 2 of those, the Eagles and Lions games, are at home. So, I mean, this Cowboys team is good, but again, we
No,
need to
no,
see
they're
them
not
beat
bad. We've never said they were bad, but to call them the Super Bowl favorites, and New Vegas doesn't even have them as a Super Bowl favorite, but all the media still does.
Yeah,
Not all the
because
media, but a lot of the media.
yeah, no. But let's move on to the next game. Just what an anomaly of a game when you look at the records and what these teams are. The 6-3 Pittsburgh Steelers at the 6 and
How?
3 Cleveland Browns. How both of these teams are 6-3, I do not
Well,
understand.
I know how the Browns are because the Browns are actually good. They just have a if they had a better quarterback situation, this team would be really, really good. And my son agrees. How dare you say the Browns are bad? Like
Well,
he's
no, I'm
doing
not
Brown. He's
saying.
probably doing a Brown right now, but that's what all that grunting is. But yeah,
No, but I agree with you. If the Browns had a competent quarterback, or a quarterback who isn't so hot or cold, or wasn't so hot and cold when he was playing, this is potentially like a 9-1 team, 8-2 team. Like, I mean, or I
for
guess it
sure.
would be 7-2 or 8-1. But yeah, they have the number 1 defense in the league, are 4th in the league in pass, or in 4th in the league in rushing, but then they're 26th in the league in passing. But then when it comes to the Steelers, again, they are the Vikings of last year, where you look at every metric you grade teams by, and they're 6-3 when there's no reason why they should be 6-3. They're 30th in the league in total offense, 25th in the league in total defense. So they have one of the worst offenses, one of the worst defenses, and they're 6-3.
It doesn't make sense. It really doesn't. But I am happy on the fact that I've told you I love their coach.
Yeah.
He's amazing. So I always want him to do well in Pittsburgh, and I don't know. This is fun. This is fun.
But also it
So
becomes
are
one of
we
those
doing our?
things.
We didn't do our pick for the
Well,
first one,
for
right?
the Steelers Browns, I think.
So
Well, we both picked the Cowboys on the first one,
yeah,
obviously. And for this one, I'm picking the Browns because I don't think Kenny Pickett is good enough to beat this defense. But I also think this feels like a 10-7 game. Like, this feels very low scoring.
what's Pittsburgh's run defense?
Their run defense, let me look it up here, Casino. They
Yeah, I don't have
are
any hands.
run defense. Oh, I cannot see. They're 25th in the league in defense.
Yeah.
And rush defense, they are stalling. They are 24th in the league.
Yep, I'm going Browns all day. Ford and Hunt are going to roll on them so bad. That was my wife, everybody, for who's watching.
And also the Browns have the number 1 pass defense by a mile. They are in first place.
How many interceptions? Do you want to do a side bet as an extra point?
In this game? How many interceptions? We do need an extra point because we didn't pick last Thursday night's game. Okay.
So let's set it at 2. Do you think the Browns get less or more? There is no 2. You can't pick 2.
So you're saying 2.5. Do they get 3 or do they get 2? Or more than 2 or less than 3?
Okay, yeah, so call 2.5.
I think they get 2, so I'm going under.
I'm going to go over.
Okay. And you're picking the Browns as well?
Yes.
I am also, so we'll do INTs. Okay, you're going over, I'm going under. But let's move on to the next game, Casino. And that is the Chicago Bears at 3-7 going into Detroit, who is 7-2. Detroit, the exact opposite of the Steelers stats we just listed. 4th in total offense, 7th in total defense, 6th in passing, 7th in rushing. Like,
I'm gonna Lions, Tigers, and Bears. Oh my! And it's gonna go in that order because the Lions are great, the Bengals are and the Bears are awful. Lions, Tigers, and Bears. Oh my!
For some
order, yes, honey, that order.
For some context, the last time these teams played was January 1st, 2023. The Lions won 41-10.
Wife? Yeah, you're good. Good job, wife. But they don't play. It would be next week. But yes, the Lions do play on Thanksgiving every year.
And they play the Bears or the Tigers, right?
There's no Tigers in football.
Bengals are a tiger, which is a specific species.
That is true.
That's why I said the Lions, Tigers, and Bears reference. This is a family affair for me today.
Yeah. Ask Brittany who she thinks is going to win, the Bears or the Lions.
Who do you think is going to win, the Bears or the Lions? The Lions. Good. Okay. Good call.
Good. I was hoping she said Bears, then I was gonna be like, there's your pick. That's your pick.
Oh no. My wife knows.
But yeah, I don't think there's really anything to discuss about this game. I mean, it's polar opposite in terms of wins and losses, polar opposites of where each team is at this point in the season. The Lions 7-2, Bears 3-7. We're both picking Lions. Most definitely a blowout. Let's go on to the next game, Casino, and that is cool.
Because I don't have too much longer. I have to pick up dogs. I have to go and do things.
You're a busy boy. 4-5 Los Angeles Chargers at 3-6 Green Bay Packers. Who you got in this one, Casino?
Oh man, this is a sad showing of a game. I'm gonna go Chargers just because I can't trust Jordan Love to throw a football down the field. I know last game he actually did throw some passes downfield that were pretty okay. My daughter wants to watch TV, so this is great. I'm going Chargers. Make your pick.
Also this week, sneaky bad, and it's not even really sneaky, just bad slate of football. Past 2 weeks, like this week, you just look at it up and down. Everybody was kind of hyping this week up, ourselves included, because of the Thursday night game, which ended up being a dud, obviously because of the injuries. And then Monday night, we have a Super Bowl matchup. But besides that, I mean, all the Sunday morning games are kind of dog water, to steal a phrase from my son. And then the afternoon games, I mean, not much better. I don't think really any of these games are good, but obviously I'm going with the Chargers as well. I just think the Packers are done. I don't trust them. I would never trust them or root for them to win me a game. So next up, Casino, we are going the 2-8 Arizona Cardinals at the 5-4 Houston Texans. Did Murray use up all his magic last week, or will he be able to pull another tiny rabbit out of his tiny hat and beat the Texans? Who you got?
I like all the tiny references. I am 100 going CJ Stroud. I am CJ Stroud. I am all in on this guy. This kid is lighting it up. I love him.
Yeah.
And I don't like Murray.
You muted.
I don't know what happened.
You're good.
I used to love Murray. I don't know. Well, I do know why I don't like him anymore. Is because he became a little diva and a little brat, and everybody hates him. But
yeah, I like watching him play. I always liked him until he started wearing half shirts at Cardinals practices, and then I was off. Right,
dude, that was what was in. Just ask Zeke.
Grown men wearing half shirts. It's an instant turn off for me.
Well, then I won't
because I
stand
like
up.
to. Yeah.
Jeez. All right.
I like my men in full shirts so I can, get the imagination going. Like, what's under there? I don't need to see it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I mean, you don't care what people think about yours. You just let people look at you.
Well, now because they're like, ooh, what's slightly below that V-neck, that open shirt right there, and it's nipples, Casino. So that's what I want. But
wait, so do you have a third one that's right there at the base of that V?
See, that's for people to imagine. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. That's up to the viewer. But we're both obviously going Texans. I do think this might be an okay game, especially watching the Cardinals last week with Murray. They feel like but then again, with Dobbs, they were a fun team to watch. Sneaky fun team to watch, even though they're bad, but they're still competitive. But I was saying when you walked away, really bad slate of games this week.
Oh, I heard you, but we said that last week too.
But I think this week might be worse. I mean, the Monday and Thursday night game were like big matchups. Thursday ended up being a dud, but every other matchup, what game are you excited to watch for all these? None of the ones we've talked about so far. Maybe Steelers Browns, but I think that's going to be a fucking snooze fest.
Well, I think that's going to be a fun one to watch because they're 6-3 and they're in division.
Yeah, but I'm just saying in terms of entertainment value, it's going to be low scoring.
I want to see who's going to be right behind the Ravens and see who's going to be still second.
Yeah. Next up, the 3-6 Tennessee Titans at the 6-3 Jacksonville Jaguars. Shockingly, because everybody loves the Jaguars, they are 6-3. Titans are 3-6. You look at their stats on both sides, they're pretty much dead even. So how is one team 6 wins? How is the other team 3 wins? I don't know. But
I'm going Jacksonville.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, wow.
But again, I just think
I said that with I was waiting for you to be like, you're insane, Jacksonville. You're an idiot. I mean, the normal things you say to me. On and off the air.
But I say those off podcast.
I said on and off the air. Yeah.
Yeah. But
you don't even pay attention. You don't even listen to me. So, I mean,
that's also on and off the air. So I'm just consistent. But no, I learned my lesson last week, picking the Titans. Never again. The Titans are bad. Next up, maybe the only interesting game on Sunday in terms of entertainment value, watch value, like who knows what's going to happen in this one. The 5-5, shockingly 5-5 Las Vegas Raiders at the 6-3 Miami Dolphins. It is insane to me that the Raiders are 1 win behind the Dolphins with how much publicity and street cred the Dolphins have had this entire season. The Raiders are 1 win behind the Dolphins. Who you got in this one, Casino?
Oh, I'm going Dolphins. I like the speed over. Yeah, I'm gonna take speed over the Raiders. The Raiders are just not. I just can't get into it. I know that things have changed since the change of coaching, but you played the Giants and you played the Jets. chill. Like, daddy, chill. Okay,
I mean,
that whole thing.
yeah. I mean, I would love to see the Raiders win this game and then to see what the narrative for the Dolphins would be after this game. But the Dolphins, and this is a perfect game for the Dolphins to lose because it's one of those games where it's like everybody's going to go in hyping up the Dolphins and being like, they put 70 on Denver. They did this, they did that. And then they play the Raiders and they put up like 14 points. And you're like, how the hell did that happen? But I am picking the Dolphins. I think they're just a better team than the Raiders. But if the Raiders win this game, I think we have to start talking about them as legit, like,
It was just a coaching issue.
yeah, and legit, like maybe this team can be a wild card team in an AFC that is
I
just,
don't know.
I
With
mean,
5
other teams are,
losses already, like they can split the rest of their games, and they still might not get in. So
but I mean, at this point, it's like a
yeah,
race
they would have to be better
between,
than 500, man.
yeah, but at this point, all these teams are, let's see, it's Texans, it's Raiders, it's Bills, it's Bengals. At this moment, like, I feel like I take Raiders, Texans over Bengals and Bills with what's been
Nah, I
going
take
on with those
Bills.
teams. I don't know. I don't know. But let's go. Let's actually move to the Bills game. The New York Football Jets at the
And you're picking Dolphins, right?
yeah, I'm picking Dolphins too. So 4-5 New York Jets at the 5-5 Buffalo Bills. Jets offense 31st in the league, the number 5 ranked defense. Bills offense in the league, number 3rd, 23rd ranked defense. So tale of two different teams, Casino. One an offensive powerhouse, the other a defensive powerhouse. Who you think comes out on top in this one?
I'm gonna go Bills. I'm gonna go with Bills because Garrett Wilson is out,
Ooh,
and or he's questionable. So even if he was 100% in, I just don't feel like he's going to be 100%. So that makes me nervous. I mean, that's their guy on for receiving. I
yeah.
think they need him. I think they need him.
So already the one of the worst offenses in the league literally loses their best offensive player.
Yeah.
And they're going against, again, a Bills team that is underperforming, but is also just that team this year that just gets hit with like literally all the bad luck in most of their games. Like, I mean, how they lost that Monday night game was just a comedy of errors, but I still think all the Bills players are pissed about losing that Monday night game and how they lost that Monday night game. So I'm going with the Bills. It's revenge game written all over it. But then again, Josh Allen could also throw 3 interceptions. And then you're just like, what's wrong with Josh
Oh yeah,
Allen? So
the new Jameis Winston.
yeah. So we're both picking the Bills on that one, or are you going
Yep.
Jets?
Yep.
All right, let's blow through the next couple that
Yeah, because I got to get out of here. I got to pick up my puppers, and then I got to
uh
go to a doctor's.
all right, 2-8 New York Giants at 4-6 Washington Commanders. We both picking the Commanders.
Yep. But there's
Yeah.
also, I mean, there's something I want to talk about NBA. I think you know what it is.
Yes, I do. But let's move on to the next game. I mean, the Giants at this point, dumpster fire, third, second string in almost every position. Like, there's no way. Next up, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, led by Baker Mayfield, 4-5, go into San Francisco, 6-3. I feel like this one could be rough. This could be a rough game.
Yeah, it's going to be Niners all day, and I love the Nick Bosa, Baker Mayfield's. So Bosa just came out and saying that he has no issue with Baker. I still think he has an issue. If those who don't know, back in their college days, Baker, when he won against Bosa's team in college, he went and put the flag in the middle of their field, and then Bosa did that after he sacked him in the NFL, and
Yeah.
pretended like it was great. It was great. I still think there's more. There's still some to that. So I
It's
think Nick Bosa is going to go absolutely ham on Baker Mayfield. Like I told you, I wasn't going to play Baker this week anyway, even if he was 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Niners.
weird, but to me, it's weird that Nick Bosa can hate someone so much who's white, right? Because Nick Bosa, because that's Nick Bosa's whole thing, right? Like like everybody's just like he's a super racist asshole, allegedly. So again, I would expect that treatment from other quarterbacks in the league, but not Baker
Oh, that
Mayfield.
was good.
What do I know?
I didn't really think you would ever go that far, but you did. And it was great. I appreciate it.
If you rewind the tape, you can see you talking and me start smiling because that joke popped into my head. But we move on to our last 3 games, Casino. The 6-3 Seattle Seahawks at the 3-6 Los Angeles Rams. Who you got in this one?
I'm going to go Seahawks. I like them. Told you I still like them. You want to go skateboard? He's snowboarding on TV. He's not skateboarding. It's close. Very similar.
Is Matthew Stafford, is he still out for... I should have looked this up, but I didn't even
I have no idea. I honestly have wrote the Rams off in my head.
He will...
His Disneyland pass got denied, so he can't take the family friends anymore.
Ooh, so Matthew Stafford is coming back for this game. So
maybe
you know
he figured it out. Maybe he figured out the whole year pass with Disneyland.
Upset pick of the week.
I'm never gonna let that go. I still like that whole joke that I came up with. That was great.
About how he has young teammates.
And he's taking them to Disneyland. Yes.
Yeah. I'm picking the Rams. I like the Rams. I've liked them all season.
Just because you went and watched them and they made it a close game against your team.
Yeah, but I like the receiving options. The Seattle team, I think, is very hit or miss. I think when you look at the Rams, on paper, they're not as bad as their record indicates. They've also had to deal with the Stafford injury. Stafford's coming back, and as of 5 days ago, it was reported that he's coming back. So it's not like a game time decision. I'm going Rams to upset the Seahawks, also trying to get back on that, get back on that train of beating Casino and picks. Next up, Sunday night game, sneaky interesting game, Casino.
No, it's not.
Minnesota Vikings at the 4-5 Denver Broncos.
Dobbs is gonna roll.
You're picking Dobbs
all day. Vikings. Plus, because I'm playing him, so.
Yeah,
all day.
I think, you know what? I think there's been so much hype on the Vikings. The Broncos over the past 3 games are playing as good as anybody or any other team in the league. I'm going Broncos.
So you know Justin Jefferson might play Sunday.
Yeah, but I just like, again, I don't dislike for what I've seen from the Vikings, but I always think we go into these games where it's like 2 unproven teams. One has all the hype, one has all the hate, and then it's always the team that's hated that like comes out on top, and then everybody's like, what happened?
They're both on winning streaks, so fair.
Yeah, I mean, I'm rooting for the Vikings because of the Josh Dobbs story. I obviously hate the Broncos because I hate Sean Payton, and Russell Wilson is annoying. But yeah, I want the Vikings to win, but I'm picking the Broncos to win. All right, Casino, game of the week. Maybe one of the games of the season, Super Bowl rematch. My 8-1 Philadelphia Eagles in Kansas City at the 7-2 Kansas City Chiefs. Who you picking in this one, Casino?
Hold on. You go first. I want to check something real quick. This is important for this pick.
Yes, Taylor Swift is going to this game.
Okay, I was checking her tour dates. Yes. Yeah. I don't want to, but I'm going Chiefs because of that.
I am also going Chiefs.
Yes, because that means Travis Kelce's going to play good, and he's the only reason the Chiefs will do well is if he's playing well. That's
correct.
Why.
Correct.
It's in Kansas. Well, then why are you doing over here? You go over there and watch. Okay.
Yeah, so if you look at the season for both of these teams, it is Chiefs have one less win. Eagles are obviously, they only have the one loss, 8-1. On offense and defense, the Eagles are 8th in total offense, 10th in total defense. They have the number 1 rush defense and then a bottom tier pass defense. So when you look at the Chiefs, they're 7th in the league in passing. Obviously, they have Patrick Mahomes, 21st in the league in rushing, and then they have the 3rd overall defense. So I do think that this Eagles team, I don't think they'll struggle to move the ball, but it might be a little bit more difficult than obviously it was in the Super Bowl. But I also think on the Chiefs side, like, you have Darius Slay, you have Bradbury trying to make up for basically costing his team the Super Bowl championship. And I also think there is, the added motivation of all the Eagles players have been like, we've circled this one on our calendars. We're ready for this one. Both teams coming off a bye. Andy Reid obviously has the stupid good record off a bye, but I don't know what Nick Sirianni's record is off a bye, but I'm assuming it's also pretty good because his Eagles team has been pretty good the whole time he's been coaching. So yeah, I think it'll be a close game. I don't see a blowout happening on either side, but I just think the Chiefs are kind of tailor-made to beat this Eagles team. And we lost Casino, but that's okay. It was the last pick anyways. I'm going with the Chiefs. I'll obviously be rooting with all my heart for the Eagles. It won't obviously, again, when the Eagles play the 49ers, when the Eagles play the Chiefs, I know the 49ers game matters more to the 49ers because they're like, oh, we would have won last year if Purdy wouldn't have got knocked out. Like, maybe they would have. But it's also one of those things where if they beat the Eagles this season, then it's kind of like, okay, like, who gives a shit? It's a regular season game. It's not in the playoffs. Like, that's how I kind of feel as an Eagles fan about this game. Like, if they beat the Chiefs in this game, it's going to be like, oh, cool, they beat the Chiefs. Like, now they're 9-1. But it's also, in my mind, not going to make up for the Super Bowl because obviously it's regular season. So it's kind of going to just be like that's cool. Like, I would love for them to beat them, obviously, because I don't want to see my team lose. But yeah, it's just one of those things where the players are like, oh, this game means a lot to us. But it's like, one is a week, 11 regular season game. The other was a Super Bowl. So not kind of on the same playing field in terms of, well, you get what I'm saying. But all right. On behalf of Casino, this has been the Only Sports Podcast. That has been all our picks for the week. Week 11. Let's see how many different picks we had. Obviously, Casino won for the Thursday night. We have the bet on the Browns. Who are they playing? Browns Steelers game, where I'm picking Kenny Pickett to throw 2 or less interceptions. Casino's picking him to throw 3 or more, so that counts as a pick. And then our only 2 different picks, I'm going underdogs. I'm picking Rams and Broncos. Literally our only 2 different picks. So yeah. This has been the Only Sports Podcast. I'm Will. That's Casino over there. I never say this at the end because I always forget, but subscribe to us on YouTube, the Only Sports Podcast. If you listen to us for podcasts, we're in Apple Podcasts, we're in Spotify, all the ones where you can get your podcasts. So check us out. I'm going to try to upload or start uploading more clips to the YouTube channel because the shorter videos obviously get better views, because if you don't want to sit there for an hour, maybe you'll sit there for 10 minutes and listen to us randomly talk about whatever. But we're going to try to be better with that. Just obviously, Casino has a new baby. I got shit going on over here. It's just kind of hard to joke with that. But yeah, I'll stop talking. Only Sports Podcast. I'm Will. That was Casino. Adios.